Hey guys, welcome back to J&M Sports Talk. We are here to talk about another week of college
Yep.
football. So, Jonathan, who impressed you in week 9?
First, I'm going to go with Michigan State, the Spartans. They took care of businesses against a Purdue team that was on the rise, that was playing good ball, just beat Ohio State, and they took care of defense. But what I was really impressed with was their defense and special teams, especially in the second half. It was a close game all game, but they had two interceptions and they blocked the field goal in the second half. And that was huge for them getting the big win. So they're definitely the team I was most impressed with. Well, also, I want to give a nod to Ellinger, the quarterback of Texas. You could tell him playing all game. They almost beat Oklahoma State, but it fell short. But yeah, he was just a gamer playing in there. You could tell he was far from 100%, but he was out there trying to will them to victory. Gotta be impressed when a kid does that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. For me, who impressed me? Arizona Wildcats. I mean, they've
Mm,
been down. It seems like all season long.
yeah.
We talked before the season about Khalil Tate and
Mm,
what a great quarterback he was last year, and just hasn't really
yeah,
materialized this
unfortunately.
year. He's been hurt, banged up, but he
Mm,
performed really well in this game. J.J. Taylor, the running back there, had over 200 rushing yards.
mm,
Arizona actually outrushed Oregon by over 200 yards total in the game and
mm,
held the ball more than 13 minutes. So it was interesting. Oregon, they had that great win against Washington a few weeks back. You
yeah.
thought that they were kind of the front runner in the Pac-12, but Arizona shut that down.
Yeah.
They thumped
Yeah.
them pretty good, 44-13.
Yeah, it seems that's the Arizona team we were expecting to see all year. Finally showed up just after it was for the detriment of the Pac-12. It
Right.
seems. But
Well, that brings me to actually my
mhm,
who disappointed me.
right.
I'm gonna go the other side of Texas. I agree with you about
Hmm.
Ellinger and coming out there and
Yeah.
playing well, but playing his heart out. But it was disappointing for Texas to be ranked in the top six. You just
Hmm.
get the feeling that they're coming back. They had the huge victory against Oklahoma a
Hmm.
few weeks back, and they just come out stale. And
Yeah.
and they at one point they were down 31-14 against Oklahoma State. They did rally later in the game, but
Hmm.
with a loss against Oklahoma State, I mean they've got two losses now.
Hmm.
One of those being to an unranked Maryland
Right.
team. I
Who's
just think
struggling?
I just think it's kind of the death of the Big 12 making it to the college football
Yeah.
playoff.
Oklahoma might have a slight window of opportunity just because they can play Texas again, make up for that loss.
Redeem the loss,
But
yeah.
they're gonna need a lot of help in front of them, and I just don't see that happening much with how good some of the teams are. Yeah, but I agree. Definitely doesn't look good for the Pac-12 or Big 12. That's really disappointing. My disappointment was the Florida offense. I just felt they really didn't show up. They had opportunities against a good Georgia team, and they just weren't able to take advantage of it. That was my big disappointment for the week. So, with that being said, Mark, they were, who we thought they were this week for
For
you.
me, I have to go with the Clemson Tigers, give them some
Hmm.
love. I mean, they've been playing pretty well the last few games, but in particular, Trevor Lawrence. We
Oh yeah.
mentioned in our preseason shows the hype that was around him at
Hmm.
QB and ultimately caused Kelly Bryant to transfer.
Yeah.
So, but he looks like an NFL caliber quarterback. He had over 300
Hmm.
throwing yards and 4 touchdowns. The Clemson Tigers, watch out. I mean,
Hmm.
they do not have a hard road. They probably have the easiest road to the college
Hmm.
football playoff because of how the ACC has performed
Right.
this year. But um, they are who I thought they were. I think they'll end up winning the ACC.
I agree. Yeah, they don't really have, I don't think, much competition between now and then, especially in conference. I think their biggest matchup might be if they face Miami in the championship game. That might be a tough game for a half, but that should be winnable for them with Lawrence. Yeah. You almost wonder why wasn't he the starter from week one, how good he's looked. So I agree with you. They are who they thought they were. For me, let's go with Minshew and Washington State. They might be the best team in the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah.
He threw the ball 50 times this week. We joke like if you throw 50 times, either you're gonna have a really good game or a really bad game. Well, he had a great game. He was 40 for 50, 438 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So he protected the ball well, and that was a huge reason why they beat the Cardinals this
Close
week.
game, too.
It was. It was a real
Close
good
victory.
game. and he made some big time plays when they needed him to. So it's got to be Minshew and Washington State,
I
the
like that.
best team in the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah, for sure,
Mhm.
for sure. They in the top 10.
Yep, right at 10. So
Yeah, so let's recap a couple of good
okay.
SEC matchups. Let's talk more about that Florida Georgia game. What did you see in that one?
For me, again, like I said, the disappointments. It was Florida's offense not taking care of the moment when they had their opportunities. They had plenty of moments in this game. I just really think something's still off with this Georgia team. I just don't think they're physical like they have been in years past when they've been good. I think they're missing a level of physicality, and this Florida offense just handed them opportunities. There was one point where they fumbled the ball at the 2 yard line. Thankfully, the Florida defense showed up ready to play because they held them 3 plays from the 2, and then there was a penalty to give them a first down to the 1, and they held them 3 more times to field goal. This defense did everything they could but actually score this week against Georgia, and I just think it was the Florida's offense's inability to make plays when there was opportunity to against this Georgia defense. That was the big reason why Georgia won this game was Florida not showing up, in my opinion, on offense.
Yeah, and I give credit to Dan Mullen. I mean, he has really turned that Florida offense around. You
Mhm.
can see like moments where they're much better than they were last year,
Oh,
but
for sure.
I still think Florida's best shot, and what I would have liked to see them do in this game is run the
Hmm.
football more. They have just a stable of running
Hmm.
backs there that are really good,
Hmm.
and they should get more touches too.
It was a led by Jordan Scarlett, who might be, you could argue him, Benny Snell, and then Swift and Holyfield are some of the best running backs in the East, at least, if not the whole SEC. So, I mean, they've definitely got some good talent there.
Yeah, really good talent. But hats off to Georgia. I mean, Georgia
Hmm.
came out there and they showed up, minute one, ready to play. And I really liked what I saw from Swift and Holyfield.
Hmm.
Holyfield didn't have those breakout runs, but he was getting yards in chunks early in the game to really set up the pass.
Hmm.
And I think the Georgia defense, I mean, they did force 3 turnovers. I mean,
Yeah.
that deserves some credit, but make no mistake about it, this Georgia team is not nearly as good as they were last year.
Uh,
And they don't have the big names like they did last year, but this year in the SEC East, I mean, it's more even. I mean,
mhm.
you've got Kentucky, you've got Florida, South Carolina is similar to what they've been in years
Mhm.
past, and then Missouri, they've got a good quarterback, and I mean, it's just top to bottom in the East. It's a little bit more evened out.
I agree for sure. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to find out who the big team is this weekend. Georgia's got a tough one against Kentucky that we'll talk about in our preview show for this
And
weekend,
that
but
decides the SEC East.
it
The
does.
winner of that game will go to the SEC championship.
Hmm.
It's crazy to think about Kentucky
Yeah,
and having the opportunity to uh, to
yeah,
make it into
yeah.
that game. But
Or should I say Snell? Yeah.
all right, let's talk
Alright.
about another SEC. This time West game.
Yeah,
Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Mississippi State pulls the upset at home against
yeah.
A&M.
You gotta give your hats off to this Mississippi State defense. They came ready to play. They had a game plan, and they were able to stop Texas A&M's run game. That was one of the biggest keys. That and then Fitzgerald just able to prove that there was a reason he's a starter and taking advantage when he had moments. What did you think?
Yeah, so you stole my talking
Oh.
points, but no,
Mhm.
no, really impressed with the Mississippi State defense and Fitzgerald able to make those throws. I
Mhm.
mean, he had a couple of throws that went the distance,
Mhm.
which that's something that's been lacking the last few weeks in Mississippi
Mhm.
State. But they're just a different team at home, wouldn't you say? I mean,
I agree.
they play significantly better. A few weeks ago they had a good win against Auburn, but Texas A&M, this is coming off a bye week for them. I
Yeah,
mean, they had more time to prepare for this game. It's got to be disappointing for them.
yeah. You almost wonder maybe they're spending that bye week looking ahead to. You mentioned Auburn, that trip to Auburn. Maybe they thought Mississippi State, the way they've been playing, they were going to outscore them and not have to worry about them as much. So yeah, it was interesting that they just laid this egg in Starkville. But you gotta give credit to Mississippi State playing physical. That defense has been top notch all year. It's just been the offense that's been struggling.
Texas A&M, their inability to run the football really hurt Kellen Mond.
Mhm.
Because in prior games this year, they've used Williams running to really set up the pass. And so when
Mhm.
that wasn't working, they didn't really have any other answers.
Mhm.
And Fitzgerald, he had a big run to seal that game. Great win for Mississippi State.
It was keeps every, and it proves that the West is still as good as everyone thinks it is. You know, there's a lot of teams that have having down years, but look how good these teams still are, even though they are having down years. You know, we're going to find out a lot more this weekend. There's some good West matchups as well to show how good they actually are. We got the top fighting, and then some of the middle guys are going at it too. Mentioned Texas A&M going to Auburn. That could be a really good game and show the depth of the division even more there. So, all
Yeah.
right, guys. So, hope you enjoyed our recap of this weekend of college football. Look out for the rest of our videos, and we've got our top 10 coming out this week. The day before, the official, the playoff bracket actually comes out. So, be sure to check out that, see how well we do compared to the official one. You know, last year we got it exactly right week one. So let's try to do that again this year. All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Later.